Hey guys, this is Kieran from MSK Physio. Today's exercise is about building a little bit more extension into the spine. It's a progression in that it requires other variables going on. So there's more things to think about, more things to coordinate. It's not necessarily a progression in terms of load, like weight, but it's a necessary progression. It'll teach you how to coordinate that movement with your arms and your legs. So when we're thinking about thoracic extension, we're thinking about the ability of our spine to bend backwards. At the same time, our upper ribs, like our upper 6 ribs, are starting to rotate up like this, and our lower 6 are starting to go down. They more of a shift, they kind of slide down, and it just creates, if you think of like an accordion, like the instrument, it's just this opening on the outer curve, the bigger curve. It's this opening through everything here, okay? And what that's coupled with in terms of movement is extension or pulling my arm behind me. So retraction of the shoulder blade, pulling backwards with my elbow. It's also coupled with a leg going behind me, so extension like this, and my head coming down this way or staying vertical. So we have to think about how all these things coordinate in movement. And if we're up on 2 feet, that's going to be a lot more complex for us because there's more things to coordinate. We only have our feet anchoring off the ground. And that means we have to create more anchor points within our own body for movement. So if we can reduce that and regress it, but say like you've done the ground stuff, you're like, hey, I can do these things, I need to progress a little bit, then we can reduce some contact with the ground by having just our hands and knees on the ground and our toes as well, so 6 points of contact. And we can sort of start building some of that extension there. So if you have an object in front of you, the height of it is somewhat important. You don't want it to be too low to the ground because you need to be able to get to it with your chest. It's okay if you bend your elbows. So if you feel like that's too low, then you need something to prop up. Now it doesn't have to be one object. You could stack some couch pillows on the ground, for example. You just need something that you can start to contact so that you can start to get some feedback, something to, make sense of where you are in space. So I'm going to get into this position, and I'm thinking about some of those things that I was just talking about. For example, retraction of the shoulder blades. I'm thinking about my head position. So I'm not going to be looking forward this way. I'm going to be looking down at the ground, and I'm going to pull my head away from the ground. So I'm not down here, I'm pulling away like there's something smelly in front of me, right? I'm pulling away, it's like, don't like that. So if I'm down here, I'm going to bend my elbows a bit so I can contact the ball, but what I can do is do these same things, and I'm going to create that force by pushing my sternum, this breastbone right here. I'm going to push that into the ball while I also try and pull my head away from the ground. So I'm right into here, pushing sternum into the ground, and then I'm also pulling my head away. Now I could add extra by trying to retract my shoulder blades. That's going to help. Do that second. If you start with that movement, you might trick yourself into thinking you're doing the thoracic extension, but you're not. You're actually doing it all or mostly with your shoulder blade retractors. So try and create the extension first and then add retraction in with your shoulder blades to assist. Another thing you can add in is breathing in. So breathing in is coupled with these movements. So I'm thinking about squishing that ball with my chest, I'm squishing it down, pulling my head away from the ground, but I'm still looking down like I'm reading a book. Breathing in, and I'll start pulling my shoulder blades back. Now I can alternate a little bit, so I could put a leg behind me, and then I'm gonna do the opposite arm. And I can switch. So it's a nice way to start building a little bit of strength. You might build the ability to hold and breathe and hold that position and anchor yourself, or you might work a little bit on the movement side of things. So if I come back down in, and this time let myself droop down, and I'm going to try and look forward. Now I'm getting into some thoracic kyphosis, flexion, and then I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to squish the ball and tuck my chin in. And then I'm going to fall over the ball and stick my chin forward. Are there other muscles involved in helping out? Yes. Are we trying to bias movement to a certain area? Yes. Are we only moving at that area? No. But by focusing on building some awareness around these areas, you start to be able to implement them and integrate them into some more complex movements that involve standing up. So give this a go. If it feels too difficult or too easy, record yourself, because you might be thinking you're doing something that you're not, or actually this is just too easy for you and you need to go into something a little more challenging. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.